Hey guys, welcome back to the Book Rookie and welcome back to part 2 of my Friday haul video, which is now a Saturday haul video. Today we're going to be talking about the Apprentice books that I picked up at the library sale a couple of weeks ago, and so let's get started. So again, these are the books that are a little bit more difficult, have a little bit more flowery language, more metaphors, might possibly require a second look when reading them. So the first book, and this one was on the edge, is called The Orchardist by Amanda Coplin. So this book is about the main character, William Talmadge, who is an orchardist. He's a very quiet and humble man who really just wants to tend to his orchard. One day he was selling his fruit in a market, and a couple of pregnant and what they call feral girls steal some of his fruit. When he doesn't chase them, they show up at his orchard, wondering basically what's wrong with him. Like, why isn't he chasing them? And it's about compassion and what he and the girls have to go through when a group of men show up and tragedy strikes. I can only assume what that means. I just think it's a beautiful book, and the writing style was just as beautiful. The reason that this is an Apprentice book is because the writing style is a little bit more flowery. It's a little bit more descriptive. So it's not just a straight plot story. There's a lot of description in here, and it is beautiful. The writing is just absolutely beautiful, so I'm excited for this one. The next book is A Natural History of the Senses by Diane Ackerman. So this is actually, I picked this up thinking that this was a novel or that it was fiction, and it turns out that this is nonfiction. It's literally a natural history of the senses. Every section is about a different sense. You can see here the section for touch, smell, sight, everything, and it goes into detail about the history. It's equal parts biology and anthropology, and I love this quote. It says, "An aphrodisiac for the sense receptors. Read a chapter, then step outside, and voila, the sky is a deeper blue, the birds sing a sweeter song. How could the world seem otherwise after feasting on voluptuous prose like this?" By the Chicago Tribune. So this, just look at that cover. Everything about this book seems flawless. This was another book that I picked up because I just thought the cover was beautiful, and when I looked it up, it was nothing but love for this book. It sounds like a very colorful and almost like sensual kind of book. I want to pet it. Yeah. Okay. The next two books are going to be of the horror gothic genre. The first is Perfume, the story of a murderer by Patrick Suskind. Many of you might have heard of this book. It was actually turned into a movie, I want to say back in like '05 or something. I remember seeing the trailer for it and being like, that's horrible. It sounds fascinating. So basically this book is about Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, again with the names. It's about this man who has it's kind of funny coming right after the natural history of senses, because this man has an extremely acute sense of smell. He becomes an apprentice for a a perfume artist, a perfumer, and quickly masters the ancient art of mixing flowers, herbs, and oils. So he's obsessed with smell. One day he gets a whiff of a woman, and he becomes obsessed with the idea of creating the virgin scent. And horrible things happen, murder, just, it sounds terrifying, and it sounds like this is the kind of book that will keep you up at night, especially if you're a woman. I feel like I'm going to have problems with this book just because of the nature of a man who, you know, is specifically targeting women. I'm a little bit worried, but I am nonetheless very excited for this book. Is that bad? I feel like that makes me a bad person. And like, this sounds horrifying and terrifying and all the fying. And I will be getting to it very soon. The next book is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. A lot of you guys will know a lot of the books that I talk about, but I'm going to describe them anyway, especially classics that a lot of people have heard of but don't really know the story of. So I'll keep this one short because it's Frankenstein. Long story short, it's basically about Victor Frankenstein, who is a scientist who's obsessed with regeneration of life, and he creates a quote-unquote monster who he turns around and considers horrifying. And the monster, in turn, because he has been completely shunned by his maker, becomes this kind of the murderous monster that everyone expects him to be. And I've never read this book. I am so excited to get to this, and I love the cover. It's very subtly dark and kind of gruesome. It says that it's at once a gothic thriller, a passionate romance, and a cautionary tale about the dangers of science. The last book I got, again, was a cover buy, but that is because it's just a beautiful edition of Animal Farm. I read this book back in like 9th grade, and I think it was before I really understood the context of the history behind this book. So for those of you who don't know, Animal Farm is a satire on communism. It's about literally an animal farm where the pigs run the show with the behind the guise that everyone is equal, but some animals are more equal than others. So I picked up this book because, first of all, the colors, second of all, the drawings. Each chapter has just these lovely illustrations before them and throughout. Unfortunately, this is a bit of an older edition, and so, you know, you've got kind of like the cracks on the front and the back, but nevertheless, I am excited for this, and I'm going to attempt to reread this book and see how I feel about it now that I understand a little bit more about the history around this book. So that's what I've got today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if there are any of these books that you want me to read. I'll let you know if I was correct in my my judgment of them as rookie or apprentice books, and I will see you guys soon. Be sure to subscribe below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!